I smoothed down my intentionally modest dress as I entered the Grand Ballroom of the Ritz-Carlton. The engagement party was exactly what I'd expected: ostentatious, overcrowded, and designed to impress. Just like Sarah herself. Oh my God, Rebecca actually came. I heard her stage whisper to my ex-husband, Michael. I told you we had to invite her. It's so charitable to include her, given everything. Michael at least had the decency to look uncomfortable. After 15 years of marriage and 2 children, he'd left me for his much younger assistant, convinced I was holding him back from greater success. Rebecca, Sarah air-kissed my cheeks, her diamond engagement ring deliberately catching the light. I'm so glad you could make it. It must have been hard to get away from what do you call it, your little home business. Consulting, I replied simply, watching her perfectly lipsticked mouth curl into a patronizing smile. Right, Michael mentioned you were doing some sort of freelance work from home. How brave to start over at your age. I accepted a champagne flute from a passing waiter, hiding my amusement. Sarah had spent the last year telling anyone who would listen about her meteoric rise at Morrison Global, one of the largest consulting firms in the world. What she didn't know was about to become very entertaining. Actually, Michael interjected, probably trying to ease his guilt. Rebecca's been quite successful with her business. Sarah laughed, that tinkling sound that always reminded me of breaking glass. Oh honey, of course she has. I'm sure local businesses really appreciate her experience. She touched my arm in what she probably thought was a generous gesture. You know, I could put in a good word for you at Morrison. We're always looking for support staff. I took a deliberate sip of champagne. That's very kind, but I'm comfortable with my current position. Rebecca, she leaned in, her voice dripping with fake concern. You can't hide in your home office forever. It's been 2 years since Michael. Well, since things changed. You need to get back into the real business world. Sarah's right, Michael added, his CEO voice emerging, the same one he used to explain basic business concepts to me during our marriage. Morrison Global is a Fortune 500 company. Even an entry-level position there would be better than freelancing. Morrison Global, I mused, checking my watch. Interesting you should mention them. Right on cue, a commotion near the entrance drew everyone's attention. Gregory Morrison himself, CEO of Morrison Global, had arrived, an unexpected guest at this mid-level executive's engagement party. Mr. Morrison. Sarah straightened her spine, smoothing her designer dress. I had no idea you were coming. What an honor. Gregory scanned the room, his eyes landing on our small group. His face broke into a genuine smile as he strode purposefully toward us. Sarah preened, clearly assuming she was the object of his attention. Mr. Morrison, I'm Sarah Chen, from Strategic Operations. We met at the quarterly review. But Gregory walked right past her extended hand, stopping directly in front of me. Madam Chairman, he bowed slightly. I didn't expect to find you here. The board meeting isn't until Monday. The silence that fell over our immediate vicinity was delicious. Gregory, I smiled warmly. Lovely to see you. How's the Asia-Pacific expansion progressing? On schedule, thanks to your guidance. The Singapore office implementations are exceeding projections by 40%. Sarah's face had gone from confident to confused to horrified in the span of 10 seconds. Michael wasn't doing much better. I don't understand, Sarah stammered. Rebecca is, your chairman of the board at Morrison Global, Gregory finished, and majority shareholder, of course. Though she prefers to work behind the scenes. He turned back to me. The advisory board is especially excited about your latest strategic initiative. Michael's wine glass slipped from his fingers, shattering on the marble floor. You own Morrison Global. Among other things, I replied calmly. That little home business had to invest its profits somewhere. Sarah's professional mask was cracking. But you're just a housewife. You used to ask me to explain quarterly reports to you. No, I corrected her. I listened while you incorrectly explained quarterly reports. There's a difference. I turned to Gregory. Speaking of which, we should discuss Sarah's position in strategic operations. Her understanding of corporate structure seems limited. Chairman, Sarah began, but I held up a hand. We can discuss it on Monday. I have some thoughts about a more suitable role. Perhaps in our entry-level program. The color drained from her face as she realized her career was in the hands of the woman she just offered to help get a job in the mailroom. My phone buzzed, a message from my actual consulting firm, another billion-dollar contract secured. I turned to Michael, who was still staring at me like he'd never seen me before. By the way, I added, remember when you said I didn't understand real business during the divorce? You might want to check who just bought controlling interest in your company too. As I walked away with Gregory to discuss actual business, I heard Sarah's shrill whisper to Michael. Why didn't you tell me she was that Rebecca Sullivan? Because I heard him respond weakly, I never knew. The following Monday, I sat in my real office, the entire top floor of Morrison Tower, reviewing Sarah's personnel file while Gregory updated me on the morning's developments. She's been calling HR nonstop since Saturday, he reported, barely concealing his amusement. Apparently, she's suddenly very interested in explaining her misunderstanding about your role. I'm sure she is. I closed the file, noting her pattern of taking credit for others' work. And Michael called the main switchboard 17 times trying to reach you. His company's stock dropped 30% when word got out about our majority acquisition. My phone lit up with another message from Michael. Please, we need to talk. About everything. About the kids. Ah, yes, the children. Our daughter Emily, now a senior vice president at my Hong Kong office, and our son James, who ran my European operations. The same children Michael had insisted were wasting their potential in their mother's small business. Speaking of the children, Gregory handed me another report. Emily's blockchain integration project just saved us $300 million in operational costs. I smiled, remembering Michael's reaction when Emily turned down Goldman Sachs to work for my home business. He'd been furious, convinced she was throwing away her future out of loyalty to me. Mrs. Sullivan, my assistant's voice came through the intercom. Sarah is here for her reassignment meeting. Send her in. I turned to Gregory. Would you like to stay for this? Wouldn't miss it. Sarah entered, her usual confidence replaced by barely concealed panic. Gone was the designer dress from the party, replaced by a conservative business suit that probably cost 3 months' salary. Madam Chairman, she began. I want to apologize for any misunderstanding. Sit down, Sarah. I pulled up her performance records on the wall screen. Let's discuss your actual role at Morrison Global. Her eyes widened as she saw her real metrics displayed. The projects she claimed credit for, the junior staff she'd stepped on, the corners she cut to advance. I can explain, she started. The numbers explain themselves. I switched to another screen. Though I'm particularly interested in how you became engaged to my ex-husband while directly supervising his department's contracts with us. She paled. That's not a conflict of interest. I finished. The ethics board disagrees. As does the SEC, by the way. Gregory handed her a new contract. We've prepared a more appropriate position for you. In our compliance department. Compliance? She squeaked. But I'm in executive leadership. We're in executive leadership, I corrected. Consider this a learning opportunity. You'll be helping ensure others don't make the same ethical lapses you did. This is because of what I said at the party, isn't it? Her composure cracked. Because I didn't know who you were? No, Sarah. This is because of who you showed yourself to be when you thought I was nobody. I stood signaling the end of the meeting. You have until tomorrow to decide. Though given the SEC's interest in your relationship with Michael during contract negotiations, I suggest you accept. After she left, looking significantly smaller in her expensive suit, Gregory turned to me. Was that mercy or punishment? Neither. It was business. I checked my phone. Another message from Michael, this time about an urgent board meeting at his company. Sometimes the best lessons come from having to earn what you thought you were entitled to. My phone rang, Emily calling from Hong Kong. Mom, did you see the blockchain numbers? We're rolling out across all Asian markets next quarter. Just reviewing them now. Excellent work, as always. I smiled, hearing the confidence in her voice, the same confidence Michael had tried to diminish. How's your brother's London expansion going? James just closed the Deutsche Bank deal. He says to tell Dad thanks for teaching us to think small. It made thinking big so much more satisfying. After ending the call, I pulled up Michael's company's financials. The board meeting he was panicking about would determine if he kept his CEO position after the Morrison acquisition. "Should we tell him you're calling into that meeting?" Gregory asked. "No need to spoil the surprise." I gathered my things for my next appointment, though I do enjoy how many times he's had to explain to his board why he never knew his wife owned their largest competitor. My assistant entered with more messages, other companies wanting partnerships, media requesting interviews, and buried in a stack, a note from Sarah's designer wedding planner asking if they should proceed with arrangements. Cancel the plaza reservation, I decided. But pay their deposit. Consider it a severance package for services rendered. Services rendered? Gregory raised an eyebrow. She showed me exactly who needed removing from our executive team. I headed for the door. Though I do enjoy the irony that her dream wedding was being paid for by the woman she pitied. The elevator opened to reveal James, my son, arriving for our strategy lunch. "Mom," he grinned, "just heard about Sarah's new position in compliance." Dad must be thrilled. He doesn't know yet. I checked my watch. Though I believe he's about to find out who really runs both their companies in about 20 minutes. "Want me to patch you into that board meeting?" "No need." I smiled, remembering all the times Michael had insisted our children learn business his way. Sometimes success is the best revenge. 6 months later, I sat in my Hong Kong office, watching the sunrise over Victoria Harbor while reviewing the latest acquisition reports. Morrison Global's stock had doubled since the restructuring, and Michael's former company was now a fully integrated subsidiary, with new leadership, of course. My phone buzzed with a message from Emily. "Dad's here for his quarterly review. You should see his face when he has to report to his daughter." After the board's vote of no confidence, Michael had been offered a choice: early retirement or a position under his children's management. His ego had taken the hit, but his bank account couldn't afford the alternative. "Mom?" James's face appeared on my video screen. "Sarah just submitted her first compliance report. You'll never believe what she found." I opened the document, admiring the irony. Sarah, in her new role examining corporate ethics violations, had uncovered a pattern of misconduct in her own previous department. Have her present her findings to the board, I decided. It's time she learned the value of actual achievement. My phone lit up with another message, this time from Michael. "Can we talk? About everything? About how I never saw." Before I could respond, Emily sent a video clip from Michael's review meeting. There he was, the man who'd spent years explaining business to his simple wife, nervously presenting his minimal accomplishments to his daughter's executive team. "Mr. Sullivan," Emily's voice was pure professional courtesy, "perhaps you could explain why you didn't identify these market opportunities sooner." I thought the market wasn't ready," he stammered. "The same market Mom captured 3 years ago," James chimed in from the London video feed. "Interesting analysis." My assistant entered with more acquisition proposals. "Mrs. Sullivan, the wedding planner sent over Sarah's cancellation invoice, and Mr. Morrison is here for the strategy meeting." Gregory entered, carrying a familiar folder. "You'll appreciate this. Sarah's compliance team just flagged all her previous achievements for review. Turns out, success is harder when you actually have to earn it." Speaking of earning it, I pulled up the global operations display. Let's review the real numbers. The screen's filled with data from our worldwide operations, billions in transactions, groundbreaking innovations, and market dominance across 3 continents. All built while Michael thought I was finding myself with my home business. My phone buzzed again. The Children's Trust Fund manager requesting approval for their latest investment, the same trust fund Michael had worried wouldn't be enough for their future. "Mrs. Sullivan?" My assistant reappeared. "Your ex-husband is asking about his position again. He's hoping for a transfer to executive leadership. Tell him to discuss it with his supervisor." I smiled. I believe Emily has some thoughts on his potential. After all, success isn't just about proving others wrong. Sometimes it's about letting them prove themselves wrong. And as I watched the sun rise over my empire, I thought about all the small businesses dismissed by condescending partners, all the little projects explained to their own creators, all the quiet builders underestimated. My phone lit up one final time, a message from Sarah. "I think I finally understand what real business means." Good, I typed back. Because understanding is step 1. Earning is step 2. And sometimes, the best revenge isn't in the taking. It's in the teaching. even if the lessons come with a corner office view and a very different kind of diamond than the one she'd so proudly flashed at that engagement party. After all, some achievements can't be borrowed, stolen, or married into. They have to be earned.